Opening statement.
Secretary Becerra, today we as the elected representatives of the people seek answers and transparency from you as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Today we're working to assure the safety and well-being of unaccompanied children crossing the border, some of the most vulnerable among us. Under President Biden, we've faced the worst border crisis in our history. ORR received referrals for more than 350,000 unaccompanied children over the course of the first 3 years of this presidency. That is more than 120,000 unaccompanied minors passing through ORR's custody annually. This is unprecedented. Prior to President Biden, the largest single year of total referrals was about 69,000. As the New York Times has uncovered, this border crisis has left children alone and exploited. And these are just a few of the gut-wrenching examples. 13 and 14-year-olds are working 12-hour shifts on farms and factories. Children dropping out of school or never signing up because they owe a debt to the smuggler that trafficked them. Children running away from their sponsors, the ones that ORR placed them with, because they were being sold for sex. We're going to talk a lot about the 85,000 children that ORR could not contact after placement. ORR claims that its 81% successful post-release contact rate is a significant accomplishment. It's not a success when the agency has lost contact with a third of the migrant children during the first 2 years of the Biden administration. And the post-release follow-up is already a low bar. ORR considers it a success if they merely speak with a child or a sponsor over the phone. Secretary Becerra, I'm especially concerned about specific policies and practices that you've put in place that prevent ORR from vetting sponsors. Why would you waive criminal background checks, including checks of the sex offender and the child abuse registries for sponsors and other adults living in households where children are placed? Why would you allow, under your watch, digital fingerprinting to confirm the identity of the sponsors to drop by 55%? Why would you allow at least 30,000 minors to be handed over to someone ORR knows that they're not related to? As an internal memo revealed, the department has become, quote, one that rewards individuals for making quick releases and not one that rewards individuals for preventing unsafe releases. The consequences of these decisions are entirely foreseeable. And again, thanks to the New York Times, we know that reports reached your desk that children were at risk. The American people must know how you could possibly have ignored these warning signs and continue to put more children in danger of exploitation. As I mentioned, this isn't the only example of mismanagement and abuses of power at HHS. As secretary, you failed to follow the law and the Constitution to reappoint the 14 NIH officials, including Dr. Fauci. As a result, they exercised power and authority they didn't legally have in approving billions of dollars in taxpayer-funded grants. There's a crisis of confidence at our public health agencies, including CDC, FDA, and NIH. CMS is denying seniors approved Alzheimer's medications and dragging its feet on meaningful price transparency rules to lower drug costs. The FDA's baby formula shortage caused panic and harm to mothers, fathers, and children across the nation. And you failed to provide us the transparency for President Biden's radical spending agenda that fueled record-breaking inflation. And the HHS OIG just reported a massive amount of fraud and waste in the COVID-19 uninsured program, which grew dramatically under your watch. For the sake of time, I won't go on. But I'll close by saying this. HHS has lost sight of its mission. As Chair Griffith said, there seems to be more concern with politics and power than the American people's safety and well-being. And I'm very concerned about a culture of arrogance and lawlessness. As I started, we're the elected representatives of the people, and we are demanding transparency and responsiveness. This culture must change, and it must change at the very top, starting with your leadership and taking responsibility for your actions. You're testifying before the committee under oath. We expect and need honest and complete answers for what has happened. Thank you, and I yield back.